Hey there, welcome to Fumble Forward, where we explore turning life's imperfect moments into growth moments. I'm Akuya, your host. Get ready to laugh, maybe shed a tear, but most importantly, be inspired to live a life with intention. Let's dive in. Okay, we are getting into it. What is impacting your behavior? And do you even know what that is? Because the reality is, we really should be knowing the answer to that question on a daily. And this episode, I'm going to be sharing how I answer that question for myself on a regular, that's tried and true, and will get you on that more intentional path that we aspire to get to every single day. And honestly, I want to just jump right into this one because it can be a rough kind of pill to swallow. I can admit that. And yet it's so necessary. And really, this is to look at what determines your behavior. Is it your mom, dad, a sibling? Is it your workplace, school, or job? Is it social media, the news? Knowing that answer is really huge in terms of defining how you show up daily in the spaces and places that you care about, right? And not just being thrown into the wind that is life and can happen so easily to all of us, right? And there may be a lot of things unconsciously controlling you that you're not even aware of because life gets so steady with different plans and different things and events going on that we don't take a beat, we don't take a pause to see, wait, is this how I want to be acting in the first place? Right? And really leaning into the why. So here's a quick framework I use to help navigate my behavior, help make sure it's in alignment with my values on a daily basis. And this is the way for me to check myself, okay, before I wreck myself. Hey, okay. So basically, I ask myself, am I being a thermostat or a thermometer? Am I being a thermostat or a thermometer? Having that pause, asking that question. Now, let me dive in a little bit more on what do I mean by that, right? So, really thinking about a thermostat that you have in your home or in an office building, wherever. Think about how it sets the tone for that space, knowing the environment at the same time, right? And so you're aware of outside elements, but you're setting a certain tone in your space. So think about it. When you have your thermostat in your house, it's aware of the environment outside, the temperature, and then it makes a decision whether to be hot or cold in your home, right? It's setting the tone, knowing the environment around it, okay? So that's a thermostat. Then you think of a thermometer, and this is just really okay, there's a temperature here, and I'm letting you know the temperature, right? The environment sets the tone, okay? You're not changing the environment, nothing like that. You're just recording what is happening, okay? It's just like a report from a meteorologist. He's not or she's not having any impact on the weather. They are just letting us know, hey, it's 75 degrees outside and sunny. Or, it's raining and scattered thunderstorms. Whatever it is, they don't have an impact on that weather. They're just letting us know what it is, right? So just having those two key concepts and then really leaning into which one do I want to be today? And pause, sink it in. Which one do I want to be today? And so let's do a little exercise. And I want to make sure I get this right. So I'm like looking at my notes, but let's do an exercise. Let's think of a situation coming up, like the start of school or a vacation, or even let's say a wedding, right? And it's the day of your wedding. There's a lot to be done, as you can imagine, with most weddings. And that could be getting the dress on, getting the photos together, getting to the venue, etc. Right? And so we want to then first think about ways we're going to be a thermostat or we're going to be a thermometer in this situation, the wedding as the example, right? And what we want to do, right, is okay, one way we could look at this, we can take on all the stress from our family or friends of the things we need to do in just a few hours before this ceremony and reception. If you figured it out, that is the thermometer, right? Because it is just taking whatever the tone is outside. We're not changing to it. We're just joining right along to the stress that is overwhelming and bubbling up in this wedding environment, right? Or we could take this other side, and that is we are calm and clear and direct with problem solving and really just enjoying the moment along the way. Aware that there are stressful hiccup moments happening, and this is the thermostat. So that's a way to look at a situation from the perspective of the thermometer and the thermostat. And this exercise is really to get you thinking through a situation before you experience it and determine how you want to show up, what your behavior looks like, and get more in alignment with the intentional life that you want to live, the person that you want to be. All these amazing things that we talk about so much here on Fumble Forward. So that is my quick framework of dictating, or not dictating, but guiding your behavior in a quick way. And this is easily my most difficult framework to implement that I've talked about on this podcast to apply to my life. But when I nail it, honey, I nail it, okay? But it's so difficult to do. And it's so funny because it's also like short, quick, and sweet, right? You're a thermostat or thermometer. How are we looking at this? How are we showing up? And I felt so called to share this with you all as we are just in this world where there's so many different things going on, whether it's the Olympics, presidential campaigns going on, school starting up, whatever that is for you. Using a framework like this can help guide you in your behavior to be in more alignment with the intentional life that you want. Okay? So let's dive into it. What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to sharing some exciting life news with you all in the last episode of the season. And this is so wild that I've kept this for this long, and it's just gonna be good. So I'll just say that's what I'm looking forward to, just like the last episode with you all for this season and sharing that news. So I'll just leave it at that. And then my favorite item that I want to share with you all is Axiology, and it's an Asian owned sustainable brand. I'm kind of on that kick right now. And basically it's like a fun play on lipstick, but more in like a color filled way. And the lipstick even looks a bit like crayons, which I think is just a fun way to add a little childlike joy to being an adult and playing with makeup and enjoying and experimenting on what works for you. And so that's a fun one that I want to put on your radar. And like always, if you have a friend that is just having a difficult time navigating their behavior and how they want to kind of show up, and they're just feeling like, blah, 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 send them over this framework, this episode. See what about this episode can speak to them and maybe inspire them to change their behavior and have it be in more alignment with what they say they want. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So make sure to subscribe to this podcast. We are getting to the last episode of season 3, which is wild. Oh man. Like the biggest gap in between the first episode and these series of episodes. But, we're making it happen and we're fumbling forward. And like always, until next time. Look at you. You stayed with me to the end. You're the best. Good thing is, it doesn't have to stop here. Dive into another episode and continue the ride.